deep, beautiful and sleek. They hop, they jump, they slither and slide. Come out in the open and they run and hide. It takes all kinds to live in Bug City. Some are weird and some are pretty. Come on down, let's meet in Bug City. Don't let them bug you. There's nothing to be afraid of. Bugs can be fun. We're all friends here. So come on down, let's meet in Bug City with Christina, Ricci, Dr. Art.
And don't forget me, Ricci Seagull.
Hi everybody and welcome to Bug City. We have here today Dr. Art Evans, Bug City's own entomologist. That means insect expert. And my, well, let's just call him one-of-a-kind co-host, Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy Siegel? I can't believe my eyes. What are you doing with a dictionary?
Just a minute. I'm reading a dictionary here. Somebody said that the food that I eat is really gross. So I'm just looking up the word in the dictionary. Listen to this. I found it. Gross. That means vulgar, indecent, outrageous. Huh. They must have meant somebody else. The food that I eat is delicious, yummy, lovely to behold. It's why they call them groceries, I guess.
Bugsy, you know what? Our show today is about really gross bug stuff. Because gross can be very, very interesting.
Absolutely. Some of the behaviors and habits of insects might appear gross to us, but in nature's plan, there is a good, in fact, vital reason for everything you're going to see on today's program.
Now I have to give you a little warning. We're about to show insects doing some pretty hideous looking things. That's why we're calling today's Bug City really gross bug stuff. So if you're squeamish, you might want to watch like this.
Okay, Christina. Bugsy, are you ready?
Oh, Bugsy, don't tell me you're scared.
Me? Scared? No, I'm just reading my palms. But
Ready or not, here we go. This tiny wasp is about to turn this giant hawk moth caterpillar into a living nursery by injecting into its soft body the eggs that she's carrying. No matter how much the caterpillar eats, it cannot mature. The wasp larvae inside are absorbing the nutrients as fast as the caterpillar can ingest them. When the larvae are ready to pupate, they will eat through the walls of its body to spin their cocoons. On this one caterpillar, these fluffy white cocoons will produce scores of new wasps. Caterpillars are used or eaten by a vast array of creatures. We in Western cultures would be amazed at how popular they are as food and sold as food in marketplaces. Caterpillars are insects in their larval forms, and the larvae of many insects are so prized as food that they employ ingenious and sometimes gross disguises. This one wears a coat that looks like a fresh bird dropping, hardly an appetizing meal. This beetle larva has an equally gross defense. After every meal, it excretes its food waste into long, wild-looking tendrils. It lets the excrement harden and collects it, carrying it around on its back. Every time it eats, it gets bigger, and so does its gross thatch of its own waste.
What we just saw was gross enough, but I have a hunch there's something really disgusting in that tray.
Among the so-called gross insects, maggots like these have the worst reputation of all.
Gee, I can't imagine why.
But the fact is, this larval stage of the fly is very beneficial.
Ooh, delicious.
Ah.
Yummy maggots. Good.
Oh dear.
Oh, boy.
Those are maggots.
Yeah, well, it looks like all white meat to me.
All right, that's enough. I get the idea.
In the natural order of things, there have to be some creatures on the planet that eat what nothing else would want to eat. You know, like rotting meat, dead bodies, animal poop. Say, Bugsy.
Hey, don't look at me. It was way too dirty. but I sure did like to look at those maggots, though.
Maggots are part of the FBI, fungus, bacteria, and insects, the agents of decomposition.
Good. You got any leftovers?
Oh, please.
These maggots are small fry compared to some of the flesh-eating flies and industrial-sized maggots out there in the real world. Have a look at this. As soon as adult blowflies smell something dead or putrid, they buzz around enthusiastically, knowing they've found a perfect place to lay their eggs. In just hours, the eggs hatch and form a wriggling mass of maggots. They waste no time in getting about consuming the dead flesh that is their first meal. They eat and expand like wildfire, often increasing their body weight 450 times in 3 days. Other flies, like the flesh fly, don't lay eggs at all. They give birth to already formed maggots. Maggots have little hook-like mouth parts, which make them very efficient at tearing into flesh. On a single corpse, you might find maggots and pupae of several different kinds of flies. The development of the newly hatched fly is so predictable and precise that detectives can actually tell how long a body has been dead by determining the ages of the fly maggots and the pupae on a corpse. These flies, like many other insects, will generally lay huge masses of eggs and then, well, just fly off, leaving their young to fend for themselves. But some insect eaters, nothing can compare to the dung beetle. These scarabs' whole life is built around animal excrement. Adult beetles suck out the nutritious fluids, their favorite food. They also laboriously pack it into balls and roll it great distances to provide food for their young. They dig holes in the ground to bury the dung balls, in each of which has been placed a single egg. Hard to believe, but there is fierce competition among these beetles for the right kind and texture of dung. Though this probably seems like a disgusting way for something to live, think how much more disgusting our world would be if there were no creatures willing to eat animal droppings. It isn't just strange desert scarabs that thrive on dung. In rainforests with howler monkeys, there are beetles who live solely on their dung. Since whoever gets to the excrement first gets the freshest food, the beetles quickly carve out chunks of dung and drop to the ground to fashion them into balls for burial.
And people criticize my eating habits. What do I have, an octopus here, a little squid there, maybe some week-old French fries off the beach? Big deal!
You know, Bugsy, I just realized all we've ever seen you do is eat. Have you ever had a job?
What?
He means, have you ever, worked?
Nah, you kidding? Me? I got lots of friends. They do the work. I let them take care of me.
You know, in the world of science, we have a word for that. Parasite.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Parasite. That's somebody from Paris. The sights, like the Eiffel Tower, French fries, escargot.
Well, no, Bugsy. A parasite, gently put, is a species that gets benefit from another species without having to give anything back, and often at a very great cost. This nest of bumblebees has been invaded by one of nature's most prolific parasites, the mite, a tiny cousin of spiders and scorpions. Every bumblebee in this colony has been covered with the blood-sucking little parasites. No matter how hard the bees try, there is no way of getting the mites off of them. There are mites who live with humans, too. The inside of this vacuum cleaner shows that we pick them up on our carpets and upholstery. There are, in fact, all sorts of mites living with us. Bed mites, which feed on skin and dried mucus from our bodies, infest most of our beds, no matter how clean we keep them. In fact, there may be up to 200 million of these minute critters in an average household bed. Fleas. Now, if these weren't itchy, biting bloodsuckers, we'd regard them as truly amazing animals. In an empty house, flea larvae can stay immature, feeding on old skin flakes in the carpet for as long as 2 years. When a warm-blooded host, such as people or our pets, arrive, the heat and carbon dioxide from their bodies trigger the larvae to mature into adults. Fleas, though they may look strange and unique, are true insects with similar basic features to an ant or a beetle. They have 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. It's the muscles in the thorax and legs which power these incredible jumpers. As insects, fleas also have 2 antennae for sensing their surroundings and 6 legs. Unlike most insects, they have flat, smooth bodies to help them move easily through hair, and they have no wings. Wings would only get in the way of reaching a meal of blood through the furry skin of a mammal. The flea's spring-loaded legs can carry them up to 200 times their own body length. Their leaps would be the equivalent, for us, of jumping 1/4 of a mile into the air. If you pick up a tick outside, you might end up with a serious illness. The tick injects an anesthetic just as it pierces your skin, so that it can drink blood for up to 10 minutes before it's even felt. When it's full, it merely drops off and rolls away, until the next time it gets hungry for blood. This full-time blood eater, the African tsetse fly, is at least as dangerous as the tick. The tsetse is able to find its victims by smelling carbon dioxide, that is, the exhaled breath of warm-blooded mammals, and that includes us. Tsetse flies carry a deadly parasite picked up by drinking the blood of wild animals. These parasites somehow don't hurt the fly or other animals, but when the tsetse fly pierces the skin of humans and injects parasites into the bloodstream, the result of the infection is often death.
Christina, this is so unlike you. You get along fine with all kinds of insects. Well, okay, but the bad news for you is that you're far more likely to be made sick, literally sick, by the common housefly that invades us all in the summer. Ordinary flies have been known to carry and spread cholera, typhoid, dysentery, polio, all kinds of nasty diseases.
I'll protect you, Christina. Bring 'em on. Oh, listen, I love to play flight tennis. Charge! What? Hey, my sweater hit your sweater. Sorry.
Funny.
Pardon moi. I'm just clowning around a little. Flight tennis.
And there it is, the common housefly, no friend of the human. Part of the problem with houseflies is that they never stay in one place, which you know if you have ever tried to swat one. They don't build nests at all. Flies are nomadic, always on the move, eating, excreting, and spreading about whatever they may have picked up to the next place they happen to land. Another of the housefly's best tools, and one of our worst enemies, is its long, straw-like proboscis. At the tip of the proboscis is a broad, sponge-like tongue with which it sucks up liquids, preferably sugary ones. Houseflies can carry up to 2 million bacteria, and wherever they land, they leave a little sample. The lesson here is, when flies are around, cover your food.
Something must eat them. Tell me something eats them.
Actually, one of the most fascinating relationships between plants and animals has to do with the so-called carnivorous plants that trap and eat insects. Flies are among their favorite meals.
All right, great. Somebody order me a dozen.
Most of these plants live at the shores of lakes, swamps, and ponds.
These sticky little beads are a death sentence for any insect that touches them. These sundew plants are bristling with hundreds of bead-topped hairs just waiting for a fly. When the fly lands, the weight triggers the sundew's leaf to curl up and begin digestion. These are pitcher plants. They can grow big enough to trap a rat, and their digestive juices are similar to a meat-eating mammal's. The nectaries around the neck of the plant give off an attractive aroma of sweet liquid that lures a fly closer and closer to the watery pit below, where it will meet drowning and death. The best known of the insect-eating or insectivorous plants is the Venus flytrap, which can grow in nearly any warm, moist place. Amazingly, the Venus flytrap only seems to eat flies. Other kinds of insects that wander onto it often pass safely across. Only when two particular trigger hairs are tripped in quick succession will the deadly trap spring shut.
The reason you find these insect-eating plants in places like swamps and marshes is that the soil is poor. They don't get enough nitrogen.
Those are not actually flowers. I mean, in the sense of ones in your garden or in vases.
No, they're plants, really, and the fly-attracting parts are actually specialized leaves. And of course, if you live in the right place, you can grow them in your garden.
Oh, that's okay. No thanks.
You know, as long as we're already in the swamps, we might as well take a look at the egg masses and larval behavior of two of everybody's favorite flies, the blood-sucking black fly and the mosquito.
As soon as the snow melts in spring, before the air even gets warm, the tiny black fly begins to swarm around streams and lakes, waiting to find something to bite. As eggs, they were laid underwater and then hatched into these larvae, which fasten themselves to rocks and catch passing bits of food with these iridescent, fan-like filters. For their third stage of development, they will spin a cocoon, and finally, usually in late April, they hatch out as adults and head for the surface. Another piercing, sucking demon fly of summer which hatches in water is the mosquito. What few people know is that mosquitoes are actually nectar eaters. The males never suck blood, only the female, and then only when it's time to lay her eggs. The blood meal she takes from an animal or a human, in a bite that can last 90 seconds, is to nourish her eggs. The piercing bites of females can inject disease into the bloodstream. As soon as the female has had her blood meal, she begins to look for a puddle or pool of still water to lay up to 200 eggs. If you don't want mosquitoes hatching around your house, don't let water stand in anything outdoors.
Every female mosquito has 200 babies?
Well, only about 1 in 200 survives.
I hate to say it, but that's a relief.
Though I won't show you how they die, I can show you how they live and how to raise and watch them grow at home. I have a couple of mosquito breeders here. The bottom compartment is designed to carry the aquatic larvae, and the larvae are called wrigglers, and you can see them swimming around. And of course, there's a funnel here, and when the adults emerge from the pupa, they fly up here out of the water. Now remember, it's only the female mosquito that bites. She needs a blood meal so her eggs will mature. Both the males and females feed on plant sap, and you can actually feed them sugar water and they'll live for several days. Now you don't have to use a special container like this, you can just use a simple jar, but be sure to put a good lid on it. Now when we raise our own mosquitoes, they don't live in very clean water. In fact, the murkier the water, the better. And you can help make that water murky by adding in rabbit pellets or grass clippings. The larvae are herbivores. They feed on plants. You can even add some flaked fish food. Now, mosquito larvae are very easy to find. Any receptacle of water will contain mosquito larvae. And you can simply take a strainer like this and just scoop out the larvae and put it into your mosquito breeder. Now, the larvae cannot spread disease at all. They don't bite, they're absolutely harmless. And you can put the lid on and watch the entire life cycle take place inside that one container.
Hey, folks! No, over here. Near the garbage. That's right, it's me. And it's time for some really gross factualities. See, I thought I'd dress up a little since this is my big number. What do you think? Lovely, aren't I? Anyway, I got some stuff to read to you. It's out of these books I got at the library, okay? You're not gonna believe this stuff. Now listen, for example, you listen to this. Did you know that in folk medicine, dried cockroaches are used as medicine to help stop bleeding and even heal bone fractures? That's a fact. And did you know that in some parts of the world, beetle larva is considered a delicacy and is relished as food treats by the local inhabitants? Well, it may be gross, but it still is a factuality.
Thank you, Bugsy. That was a great job.
Hey, but I'm not even finished here.
I'm afraid you are.
Huh?
Thanks for joining us today in Bug City. I hope you were as grossed out as I was.
Remember nature's recyclers. Every creature has a vital role.
Bye-bye. See you again.
Wonder how long I can stay fresh in this can.